What's up, everybody? It's Paul. I know there's going to be a little bit of hate today, but if you know, you know, and Dodgers all the way. But let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to have our final episode of the most commonly asked pre-PA questions. So let's go ahead and roll. Sorry guys, I took a little hiatus last week. Aubrie was out of town and I was like, you know what? I'm not making any videos. Oops. Alright, so it's going to be a longer episode today, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in right away. So the first question I have here is, what is something that I wish I knew earlier in the application process? I've kind of touched on that, and I'm gonna, bring it up again right now. But the thing that I wish I knew early on is that the classes that you retake are still counted on your GPA. It doesn't take over that class or kind of like replace the grade. You can't replace the grade. It counts as two different classes. So just keep that in mind. I wish I knew that. I had one of my classes that I had retaken. It was on my transcripts. It said that on my school GPA, it said that this class is dropped, but CASPA still counted it. So just make sure that you know that. Make sure that you understand that even if it is dropped from your transcript, but a grade is still put on a transcript, CASPA will still count it. So just keep that in mind. The second question here is, how many PA schools do you recommend applying to? My magic number was 10. 2 safety, 2 dream, and 6 of your average schools. How does financial aid work for PA school? You're in for a treat, guys. So for me, it was all financial aid. You apply through FAFSA. They approve whatever amount of money they would approve for you. From there, they will, calculate how much money they will be able to offer you. And if you need more money, you can pull private loans. I highly recommend trying not to, but if you really need it, go ahead. It's better than getting credit card debt because the interest rate is a lot different. So I would highly recommend getting a loan versus going into credit card debt. But it's all through FAFSA. I know you apply annually. I want to say deadline is around January. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but I usually submit my application December or January. And for me, it's a 24-month program. I have to submit 3 times. I know some programs are a little bit longer. They might have to submit 3, maybe 4 times.
The next question was, did I use any PA prep programs for helping me with my application or with my interview? So for my application, no, I really didn't. I won a giveaway for a free personal statement edit, but it wasn't like something crazy. I'd already basically had my personal statement edited by everyone around me at school and stuff, so it wasn't that much of a drastic change to my personal statement. But other than that, I didn't have any other services. I wish I had my PA box, not just because I'm like a affiliate with them. I genuinely wish that's something I had during my journey. That would have helped so much with organizing everything and would have helped me pick my schools earlier probably and be more prepared and know what classes to take earlier. As for my interview, I did a couple mock interviews with people around me. I didn't use any of the popular sources or any of the, pages that you see on Instagram and stuff. The PA process is already super expensive, so if you have resources around you, such as mock interviews at your school or something, take advantage of those. So for me, that was just finding mock interviews that I did not have to pay for and using resources online that were free. It is definitely doable. You do not need to pay for all of the services, but I have heard really great things about them, so if that's something that you think you need, I would still try to do that.
That's another question. It's really good. Something I wish I knew about CASPA, but I didn't know, and I wish I did. Again, same thing. I wish I knew that they calculate everything that's on your transcript, even if it's not counted towards your transcript GPA. Kind of mentioned that in one of the previous questions on this episode, so just keep that in mind. It kind of stinks, but just keep it in mind and put that in mind also when you're trying to retake some classes. I would highly recommend actually taking different classes than retaking classes unless you're really bad and you just need to, it's a required class and that you didn't pass. So that's obviously a good idea to do. Retake it. Oh, this question is great. Did I get time to see family and friends during PA school? So I'm second year right now. first year was a little tough. Honestly, first quarter, I did not get to see my friends. I did not get to see my family. It was rough. But what I'm going to say is make time for your friends. Make time for your family. It's worth your sanity. It took me a little bit of time to get that situated and to get that time management skill. So I highly recommend focusing on that. And take the time off, take the breaks. I know a lot of my classmates have kids or have wives or husbands, and they have other duties other than their PA school. Obviously, PA school is on top of the list, but your family and friends are also on top of the list. You're gonna miss a few things. You're gonna miss a few birthdays. You're gonna miss a few things, but try not to miss the big stuff. Try not to miss the weddings. Try not to miss the engagements. Take the time off. That's my recommendation. It's tough, and I know people are gonna be like, no, take the time off. Those events are not gonna repeat themselves as long as you're doing good in school, as long as you're doing okay in school. Take the time off. That's just my personal opinion. It's up to you. Some people will be, no, you're wrong. I disagree. Go ahead, disagree. But I just feel like sometimes that extra few hours of studying is honestly doing more harm than good. For my second, third, and fourth quarter, I took weekends off. I did not touch a book on the weekends. Still did great, still passed. So, busted my ass on the week though. I was up at 3:30 in the morning every day. So that's what I did. It was kind of a balance. But if you're going to study on the weekend, you can, sleep in a little bit. But if you're not, then like I did, I took the weekends off. Had to wake up super early, had to get all my studying done in the morning so that I'm more productive.
So the next question is, what is the hardest thing about applying to PA school? In all honesty, I think it's just the waiting game. It's waiting to hear back from schools. It's starting to hear those rejections at first before you get those interviews. All of that takes such a mental toll on you because you have spent so much time on your application and your preparation to get into school. And then when you start hearing back, or if you don't hear back for months, that is just so hard mentally because you just question everything you've done and if it's good enough. But once you start getting those interview invites and you start hearing acceptances and stuff like that, it makes it so worth it. But definitely the waiting game, the quiet period between applying. I applied in June and August and I didn't really hear back anything until September. So from June until September, that's a long time to not hear anything. And silence to me makes me question everything, in normal day things, let alone a graduate school application. So I think that was just the hardest time, was to distract myself, stay busy, keep preparing if I do need to apply for another cycle, but just to not go insane during that time.
Is PA school hard? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what I'm saying. But yes, it is. PA school is extremely hard, but it is completely doable. Is it worth it? I will tell you when I graduate and start making that money, and I'll come back and be like, yes, it's worth it, or no, don't do it. I think I'm going to say it's worth it. We'll see. Should you be a PA or should you be a nurse? It's the same amount of schooling. That's your decision. If you got to do your own research. I wanted to go into the medical model, so that's why I wanted to become a PA. If the nursing model is something that fits you more, that's go ahead and go into nursing school. They're both amazing. They're both great. They're both essential. So that's something that you have to do a little bit of research on and see what fits you as a person more. What were the driving factors in me picking the schools I picked to apply to? Very good question. And for me, I wanted to be a little bit. I wanted to be local. I wanted to stay in California. So California schools were obviously on top of my list. I still applied out of state. I still applied to further schools because I didn't want to limit my options, but because I was already limited because I did not take the GRE, so some schools were out of the picture. So I highly recommend applying to 10 schools, like I said. The school where it's at was big for me. The graduation rate and the pass rate was important for me. And also the reputation in the school, and that's why I picked the school I'm in. I heard amazing stuff about this program, and the institute itself is a huge institute, so that's what made me pick that program or pick that school. I think it kind of differs from person to person. Some people are actually trying to move out of state and go to school out of state. That's their decision. So priorities change, but for me, I wanted to be close. I wanted to be close to home. My girlfriend is here. She had a full-time job at the time. She still has it. My aunt and family are here, so I wanted to be close to them versus going out of state or going further away. Why did I choose this program that I want to man over others?